Welcome back to Session Report, the show that takes you to the gamer's table to share in the prizes that come out during play. And we're playing Spirit Island. We're playing the second round of the game with a spread of rampant green. So let's just quickly go through this round because I had an idea in mind. I have to stop playing in a minute, but I had this idea in mind, so I want to make sure I play it out. And remember, my plan was I'm going to choose this one where I get to play an extra card this round, so I can do this all-enveloping green. So I know, first of all, I need to add a presence to a jungle or wetland. So I'm going to add a presence right up here to this wetland because I need to create a sacred site there. And then, when I do this power, I also get to add a presence to someplace one space away from my current presence. Since we're dealing with more jungles, again, I think it would be good to do one of either this or here so that I have a sacred site there. And I'm thinking I want to do this one right here, this jungle. So I'm going to add a presence to, and I'll, I guess, do this to show that I get +1 card play. I'm going to add a presence, I believe, right here, and I'm going to generate a sacred site here. And the reason for that is I want to play this move this turn. No, that's not the one I want to play. I want to play the stem the flow of fresh water this turn. It's going to let me deal some damage after the invaders build. So I need a sacred site there. I need to be at least within range 1 of a sacred site for that to work. So we're going to do that. Okay. So then we get our energy. So I'm going to gain 2 energy because I've uncovered the number 2 here. Then, this is a very fast-moving spirit. You get to play your cards or put out your presence very quickly. I think that's kind of the idea. Then I'm going to play 2 cards because I get 1 card normally and I get +1 card play this turn. So we're going to play 2 cards, and I know one of them is going to be Stem the Flow of Fresh Water. Now, it would be nice if the other one were Overgrow in a Night or Gift of Proliferation. That would be pretty cool because, for instance, Overgrow in a Night or Gift of Proliferation, either one would get me not only my all-enveloping green, but also my Creeper's Tear into Mortar. And actually, I'm going to need that. So let's see. Gift of Proliferation is basically getting me to put out more presence, but Overgrow in a Night would let me get some fear, which would be fantastic, and let me get presence. I'm thinking, I think I want Overgrow in a Night this round. Get out some fear. I don't really know yet where else I need presence other than where I already have it. I mean, I got to do something here, but I don't really know what I can do there, except maybe try to do the same move again. No, I'm not going to be able to do the same move. I think this space is just going to end up being blighted, unfortunately, because I don't think there's any way I can destroy this city in time. But that's, you know, a matter for another turn. This turn, I've got a plan in mind, and I'm going to try to execute that plan. Oh, you know what? I can prevent, if I have a sacred site there. If I have a sacred site there, let's see, I can do that. I can get a sacred site out there next round, and I can prevent them from ravaging at all in that space by destroying one of my presence. I think I'm going to do that. That would be fantastic. So that's going to be next round. Again, I'm thinking ahead, and now I'm going to have to play out the next round, but I don't have time to do that. So let's just get this round done with. So I'm going to pay for these cards. I'm going to pay 2, and then this one was free. And then we have the fast actions. So I've got 2 fast actions here. One is add 1 presence within range 1 of my presence, or if target land has your presence and invaders, 3 fear. I'm going to target this space here, which has my presence, and it's got an invader. So I'm going to generate 3 fear for that. Overgrown in a night. And I also have triggered this, the all-enveloping green, because I've got 1 water, 2 leaves, and 1 plant already on my board. So, all-enveloping green, I'm going to defend 2 in 1 space. So I'm going to defend 2 up here. So we'll see how that plays out in a second. Then we have the invader phase. First, they're going to ravage. Now, they're going to ravage all the wetland spaces. Guess what? There's nobody in this wetlands anymore. So that means they're not going to do anything here, which is fantastic for me. And over here, they're going to ravage, which means they're going to deal 3 damage. 1 for the explorer, 2 for the town. That's 3 total. But I'm defending 2, which means they're doing a total of 1 damage to the Dahan and the land. Doing 1 damage to the Dahan only damages it, and you show damage by flipping it over, but doesn't destroy it. And then doing 1 damage to the land does nothing. You need to do at least 2 to blight it. So I've successfully prevented them from putting out a blight, which is fantastic. Then the Dahan are going to fight back. Now, if I, for instance, skipped the ravage phase next turn on this jungle here, the Dahan would not get to fight back. But because I prevent the ravage from happening, because I didn't prevent the ravage from happening, I just defended it, I can have them fight back. So each of these is dealing 2 damage, and guess what? 2 damage is going to destroy a town, and then 1 damage remaining is going to destroy that explorer. And every time you destroy a town, you generate 1 more fear, which means I've successfully put 1 fear card into play. Move all these back up onto the fear pool, and we're going to continue trying to generate fear in the future. We finished the ravage phase. At the end of this round, remember this Dahan is going to heal back up. Now we're going to go to the build phase. In the build phase, every jungle they're going to build a town or a city. So, unfortunately, there's a guy here, he's going to build a town, and there's a guy here, he's going to build a town. Because there's already a city there. If there was already a town there, he would build a city instead. So, unfortunately, it wasn't anything I could do, at least with the cards I have, to prevent that. And then we have the explore phase. And they're going to explore into the mountains. And it looks like they are adjacent to both mountain spaces, so they're going to put 1 explorer out here. Now we are going to discard the card that's all the way on the left, move Ravage over to Jungle, and move Mountains over to Build. So next round they're going to build in the mountains. But, you know, we've done something at least. We've made some progress. And then it's time for my slow actions, which are Stem the Flow of Fresh Water and Creepers Tear into Mortar. So Stem the Flow of Fresh Water, 1 damage to 1 town or city within 1 space of one of my sacred sites. I'm going to go ahead and damage this town. So I'm going to damage it by putting it on its side like that, to show that it still has 1 more damage left to kill it. But because I've got 1 water and 3 plants, I can the other one, I've got 1 moon and 2 plants, I can use Creeper's Tear into Mortar, and I can deal 1 additional damage within range 0 of one of my presents to 1 town or city. So I'm going to go ahead and completely destroy this town. Remember, when I destroy a town, I generate fear. Which means, next Ravage phase, this jungle again is not going to be able to do anything. So I'm off to a fantastic start. I've successfully prevented blight from happening, and I've generated some fear, and I've destroyed some of these towns. I think I'm doing fairly well. But we'll see, as we start having to waste some actions to reclaim cards, if I can keep up the momentum. I'm going to go ahead and discard these cards here, because we are now in the time passes phase. And then all the lingering effects end, so this damage heals and this defense goes away. And then we're ready to start the next round. Okay, welcome back. A new day has dawned on Spirit Island, and we are getting ready for, I believe it's just turn number 3, if you can believe it. Seems like we've done a lot in the game already. And the game is only going to last a maximum of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I believe 12 turns, because as soon as we get through this explore deck and it's all empty, I believe that's one of the game-ending conditions in which I can lose the game. Another one being if I run out of blight tokens to put on the board. So, let's see what we can do this turn. I know what I want to do. I want to put 2 of my presents here so it can become a sacred site and I can prevent them from ravaging this turn in that jungle space. So that's one of my goals. But I'm going to end up playing some cards at the same time, and I might as well do something with those cards that I play. So let's see what else I might want to do. For instance, if I played the Gift of Proliferation, I could do that in order to add the second presence onto this space. That might be good. Or I could use the Fields Choked with Growth, or possibly even play both of those cards if I'm either able to do my growth option that gets me an extra card play, or use these 2 presents to get that. But I would need to place the presents before I play my cards, and this presence comes out after I play my cards, so that's not so good. But I'm thinking what I might want to do, because I know they're going to ravage in this mountain and this mountain next round. I have this town in this desert that is not really doing anything. I haven't been able to really interact with it yet. And if they start trying to build there, then I'm going to have to deal with that later. So I'm thinking I might want to move this town into that mountain space using Fields Choked with Growth. And then on a future turn, I can use Stem the Flow of Fresh Water, probably the next turn, in order to try to destroy it. Let me see if that's something I can possibly do. I could try to do Stem the Flow of Fresh Water this turn if I reclaim my cards this turn. That's also another option. I could reclaim my cards. Then I'm not going to be able to play 2 cards this turn, but I would be able to play 1. No, because I need to get out this second presence. So the only card I'd be able to play would be the Gift of Proliferation. I wouldn't be able to do Stem the Flow of Fresh Water. But you can see where having these slow actions and fast actions really causes you to have to think very strategically, because if I want to destroy this town before it can do anything, I need to do it at the end of this turn, after they've built in that space. But in order to do that, I need to get Stem the Flow of Fresh Water back into my hand. In order to do that, I'd need to do a reclaim action. If I did a reclaim action, I'd only be able to play 1 card this round. Alright, so let's think about what's the best thing to do this round. Another option would be if I could push that town into this space and then prevent them from ravaging in that space, then deal the damage later to it. That would be another thing I could do. Because if I just play Gift of Proliferation, I could deal 1 damage to a town or a city. I could maybe build that up and deal multiples of damage. So let's think about it a little bit more, and we'll come up with a plan. So I think, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to do much this turn about this mountain space. I'll try to deal with them next round, and hopefully I'll be able to get something done and prevent these blights from occurring. The only other option I really have is try to reclaim my cards and use Steam Vents again. And the problem with using Steam Vents again is then I wouldn't be placing out a second presence to prevent the ravage from occurring here, and that's something I really want to do. I mean, the other option would be to try and push some Dahan into there so that they could maybe survive that ravage attempt. Let's see, could I do that? I wonder if I could pull that off. I don't have any fast actions that are going to move them in there. So no, I don't think I can pull that off this round. But that might be something to think about for the future. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to add a presence to a jungle or wetland. I'm going to add the presence right there. That's my always action. And then I'm going to do the pick one action. And I think I'm going to go ahead and I don't really need to play 2 cards this round. So I'm going to go ahead and do the action where I reclaim my cards. No, let me see. I'm going to go ahead and do the action. I want to reclaim my cards probably next turn. So I'm going to go ahead and do the action where I gain a power card and get +3 energy. So I'm going to gain the power card first. I'm going to go for another minor power. And that's going to help me play more cards before I have to do the reclaim action. Because when you get the major power, I think I mentioned this before, you have to get rid of one of your cards when you do that. So I'm going to draw 4 minor powers, take a look at them, see which one I want, and then I also need to get that 3 energy. So these are the 4 cards I drew. Gift of Living Energy, which would give a target spirit, that would be me, 1 energy. And if I have at least 2 sacred sites, another energy. I think I don't need that one though. Gift of Constancy, target spirit gains 2 energy. At the end of the turn, target spirit may reclaim 1 power card instead of discarding it. That would be pretty nice, but again, I mean, I'd have to play that card in order to get that ability. We then have Devouring Ants, 1 damage, 1 fear, and destroy 1 Dahan. If target land is jungle or sand, +1 to the damage. That could be really good. If I could target a place without any Dahan in it, it's got to be within range 1 of one of my sacred sites, I could deal a little bit of damage. But then I have Pull Beneath the Hungry Earth, which is also very similar. It's within range 1 of anything. If target land has your presence, 1 fear and 1 damage, and if it's sand or wetlands, 1 damage. So that could end up dealing 2 damage, just like this card, gets a fear, and I wouldn't have to destroy a Dahan, and it doesn't have to be as far away range. And it's got a moon and a water. And moon and water are the elements that I'm trying to kind of cultivate, plus plant over here. So we're going to grab the Pull Beneath the Hungry Earth action, and we're going to gain 3 energy as well. 1, 2, 3. And that's our growth action. And then we gain energy, so we're going to gain 2 more energy for the round because we've uncovered 2. And remember, I've got this free plant resource. And then we are going to, I think we could just play Pull Beneath the Hungry Earth. No, I need to play the Gift of Proliferation because I need to get this second presence token out. I think it's going to have to be Gift of Proliferation this turn. Yeah. We're going to do Gift of Proliferation. If I had known I was going to get this ability that would let me target these things, that would have been great. And I would have tried to get my 2 card plays this turn. But as it is, I'm not going to be able to get my 2 card plays. So we're going to just play Gift of Proliferation. We're going to pay 1 energy for it. Man, I hope this doesn't screw me next turn. I'm going to have to try to find a way to destroy some of these things or defend these spaces. Oh man, it's going to be rough. I don't know, should I have done a different action? Well, it's too late now because I already saw the power card. So we're going to play Gift of Proliferation. We're going to pay 1 energy for that. And we are going to go ahead and use it now because now it is the fast actions phase. So I could also do Creepers Tear into Mortar. It wouldn't really do me a whole lot of good, but I might as well just do it just to see what maybe the fear card might give me 1 extra damage to destroy this building. So I'm going to add 1 more presence up to 1 away from one of my existing presents. I'm going to put a presence right here. And remember, I'm getting rid of this at the end of this turn. Man, I think I should have done this plus pick 1, add a presence plus 1 card play, but you know what? It's a little late for that. And I can target myself with this because even though it says target another spirit, I can target myself. You know what? I can't do that damage yet. We're going to see what the fear card is first, and then we might end up just not doing anything. And then I can use choke the land with green. Whenever invaders would ravage or build in a land with your presence, with your sacred site, you may prevent it by destroying one of your presence in that land. So first thing I'm going to do, we're not in the ravage phase yet. We have Blighted Island, which is not blighted yet. Then we have Fear. So we're going to take this Fear card that I earned, flip it over, and resolve it. And there's going to be 3 different terror levels. So we're going to resolve the terror level 1 effect, which is a little bit less good. And then as we get to terror level 2 and terror level 3, these cards are going to get better and better for me. So each player may push up to 2 explorers from an inland land. That's actually a fantastic effect because that means I can prevent them from building. This is inland, this is inland, and this is inland. So I can push up to 2 explorers from that inland space. And I think that has to target 1 single inland space per player because it says up to 2 from an inland land, not from inland lands. So we're going to push, I think, I definitely don't want to blight here, but at the same time, yeah, I think it's fine. I think I'm going to push this guy over here where there's already 2 Dahan, so maybe I can do some good defending next. Whenever that sand comes up, I can try and defend. So I pushed. That was the retreat effect. Then we have the ravage phase. Now this guy's not gonna, well, he's gonna ravage, but he's not gonna do any damage because he deals just 1 damage. And to damage the land, you need to deal 2. So that's fine. Oh, you know what? These cards are supposed to be discarded face down, so we'll just do that. I don't know if it makes a difference, but I'm pretty sure that was in the rules that these need to be discarded face down. So we'll just leave it like that. And then this is going to ravage. I'm going to prevent the ravage from happening by losing one of my presence in that area, by destroying it. And I'm going to put it off the board here. But remember, my special ability, Steady Regeneration, I can add that back during the growth phase. Then they're going to build in mountain spaces. Now, I got rid of this guy, so he can't build. But he's going to build a town right up here, which is okay, I guess. And then they're going to explore. So let's see what the new one is. Now this is a level 2 invader card. And level 2 invader cards in the basic game, if you're not playing with any invaders, any named adversaries, it's just the same. It's got this little escalation symbol. But the escalation symbol only triggers things on adversary cards. So just in the base game, the level 2 cards are just the same as level 1 cards. But once we get into level 3, we're really in trouble because they're going to start exploring and building and ravaging 2 types of land every round. But for now, it's just they're going to do jungles again. So we're going to go ahead and put another explorer in each jungle. And then that's the end of the invader phase. So we're going to move these cards over. And jungles, remember, are pretty good for me. And then that's the end of that. And then I do have the ability to use Creeper's Tear into Mortar, but that damage is going to pretty much go to waste. It would end up pretty much doing nothing for me. So we're just going to discard this card. And then any lingering effects and any damage goes away. And we're going to start the next round. I think I was thinking of a different game with the facing down discard. So we'll just keep the discard pile like this. Hopefully it won't be any confusing at all. And we're going to start the next round. So I was thinking about what I might want to do. And I think I would like to try to do Creeper's Tear into Mortar this turn. Which means I would like to do a reclaim of my cards. Now remember, I've already got 1 plant for free. But I would need... well, actually, I could do... I'm sorry, I was thinking I wanted to do all-enveloping green, which means I would need at least to play 2 plant symbols, 2 plant elements from my cards. I've only got 1 in my hand right now. So I think I'm going to have to do a reclaim action to get those back in my hand. And then I'm going to try and defend this space here so that even when they do the ravage, I'm not getting rid of the town, unfortunately, because I'm not going to be able to push these Dahan into that space fast enough. But I'm going to prevent them from putting out a blight, and that's half the battle, really. I think that's what I want to do. And then I'm also going to try and do Creeper's Tear into Mortar, and it would be really awesome if I could do level 2 of Creeper's Tear into Mortar. And I'm going to try and maybe destroy a town or even destroy the city in this jungle space before they can build it up even more. I think, yeah. And then there are going to be some guys down here as well. So let's see what I can pull off. So we're going to do the growth action. First, we're going to put out, let's see. I think I want to get that other plant out from here. I don't know. I also want to put out another element or another card every turn. That's really tough. I've got plenty of energy right now, so I think it's actually better to play multiple cards, except that you have to reclaim them faster. But in general, I think it's probably better to play multiple cards, get more actions and abilities, than to just get that free element. So we're going to do from here, and we're going to put it back on this space. And that will, if we need to, be able to prevent them from ravaging there again next time. Then we're going to do reclaim cards, get all of my cards back, and we're going to gain a power card. And I think we're going to go ahead and just grab another minor power. We'll start getting some major powers maybe next time I get a power card. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to take 1. So let's see, Delusions of Danger, push 1 Explorer or get 2 Fear. That's a pretty great one. Drift down into Slumber, defend 1 if the target land is a jungle or sand, instead defend 4. That's a great one. Quicken the Earth Struggles, 1 damage each town or city, or defend 10. That is amazing. That's a great ability, and it only costs 1. But the problem is it has to be a space with my Sacred Site. But that would be great. That would be fantastic. I actually really like this card. The only problem is, the only element it gives me that's really useful to me is the moon. It doesn't give me plants, doesn't give me water. So it would help me with Creeper's Tear into Mortar, but it doesn't really do a whole lot else for me. And this Lure of the Unknown, gather 1 explorer or town. It has to be a target land without any invaders in it. But it's got a moon and plant. That's the only card out of this entire lineup that's got 2 of my symbols that I'm looking for on it. Let's see. I think I want one of these defense cards, because being able to defend the land is a great strategy, and then I can possibly get some Dahan in there, defend, and then after I've defended, maybe defend for 10. That would be fantastic. Then the Dahan can quickly wipe out the rest of the invaders. Like, say I were able to push these Dahan from here into this jungle. Now, when they do their Ravage next turn, if I defend 10, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then I think they're going to put out another, so that's 2. 8, 9. I'm defending against all of that, and then these 3 are going to do 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I get 1 Explorer. There'd still be 1 town there, but man, I would be able to wipe out a pretty good chunk of their invasion force just with that defend 10. I think that's probably the card I want to grab. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a plant on it, and the plants are what I really need, but you know, I can work toward getting this extra free plant, and then I only need to play 1 or 2 cards with plants every turn. I think I'm going to grab that. The only other one that looks at all good is this Drift Down into Slumber, which is defend 4 on jungles or desert. And the only real advantage this has is it's a little cheaper to play. It's got a plant icon on it, and it can be range 2, which basically any space on the board, instead of a space with my Sacred Site. But I'm going to grab this one. So we're going to discard all of these, and I reclaimed all my cards. Now I'm going to get my free energy, 2 free energy at the beginning of the round. So I've got no shortage of energy. Then we're going to decide what cards we're going to play. We're going to play 2 cards this turn. And remember, he's going to ravage here. So I want to try to prevent that from happening. I can do that by triggering my all-enveloping green ability. So that might be just what I end up doing, but that means I'm going to have to play 1 water card and 2 cards with plants. Or 1 card with, 1 card with water, 2 cards with plants. So let's look at my cards and see what I want to play this turn. So I think I'm going to do these 2 cards, Overgrown in Night and Fields Choked with Growth. I actually was looking at my cards and I really need to pick up more plant elements. Because if I want to trigger all of the enveloping green where I can remove a blight from the board, which would be fantastic, I'm going to need 5 plant elements. And I can get 2 from my board, but I need to play 3 on the cards. I only have 4 cards currently that have that. So I can't do that every round. Same thing with Creepers Tear into Mortar. So I think I want to try and maybe go for a major power next turn and see if I can grab one that has a plant icon on it. And because I'm getting a bunch of energy. So I don't think that will be a problem. But anyway, I was going to pay for this card, Overgrown in a Night. And the reason I want to play this is it'll give me that 3 fear, which I'm looking for. And what I really want to play this turn is pushing 3 Dahan. I'm going to push the Dahan from this space into that space. And then I'm going to do what I was saying next turn with that giant defend action. So, yeah, I think that's the best move. And then this move, the other thing is basically just to get that extra plant symbol so that I can do my defend 2 on this space over here. So it's going to be either that card, Stem the Flow of Fresh Water, which I'm going to save, I think, and try and do next turn, and then I can deal even more damage to these spaces here. Or Gift of Proliferation, which would also be a good move, honestly. Any of those would be good cards, but we're going to do this for now because I don't yet know what other spaces I'm going to need to put my presence out on. So we're going to do that. So again, I'm going to pay for this. I hope I haven't paid for it over much. I keep putting these tokens out. Go like that. And then we're going to play out the turn. So I've got 1 moon, 1 water, and 2 plants, which means I should be able to do both of the level 1 of my 2 innate powers. We're going to start with my fast actions, which is either add 1 presence, or if the target land, 1 space away from my presence, has invaders and your presence, do 3 fear. Now I could choose any space, basically, that has my presence on it and invaders. So I'm going to go ahead and choose this one, and I get 3 fear, which means we've got 1 more fear card we earned. We're almost at level 2 of the terror track, which is the goal. We need to get to level 2 or 3 realistically to win the game. Most of the time, that's what you've got to do, unless you're really good at coordinating, destroying a bunch of things quickly. So there's that, and then I'm also going to get a nice fear effect at the beginning of next round. Then I do have this fast action, all enveloping green, so I'm defending 2. Let's see, make sure I got that 1 water and 3 plants. I'm going to defend 2 right here in this mountain space, which means I'm not going to be able to destroy this town, but at least I'm going to prevent them from adding another blight. Then we're going to go to Ravage. Again, I'm going to prevent the damage to the land from here, so basically the Ravage is meaningless at that point. And we're going to go to Build. So we're going to build a town in each jungle space that has invaders in it. Then we're going to go to the Explore, and the worst card, at least in if you're not playing with an adversary, because they're going to explore all coastal lands, which means they're going to explore here, here, whoops, here, and right here. Not so fun. And then we're going to move everything over, which means next turn they're going to build in all the coastal lands, and the turn after that they're going to ravage all the coastal lands. Luckily, the coastal lands are all the land types that I do the best in, jungles and wetlands. And then that's the end of the invader phase, and then we go into the slow actions. So I've got 2 slow actions I can do. Creepers tear into mortar, which, again, I'm not really going to get much use out of, but this field's choked with growth that I do want to make sure I do. I'm going to push these 2 Dahan into this space here, and then next turn, oh boy, I'm going to really make their life hell by doing a bunch of damage to them, hopefully. Using something. I forgot exactly what I was going to do, but I'm going to, I'm going to do defend 10 in that space. That'll be good. And then I do, like I said, have creepers tear into mortar. I don't have level 2 of that active, so I can't really do a whole lot. If I were able to play one more moon card, then I would be able to do level 2 of creepers tear into mortar and do 2 damage, which would be a great outcome. But right now, nothing. So we're going to go ahead and discard these cards, get rid of my defense. There was no damage done to anything this round, no partial damage, so nothing to heal up.